Hey, this is Count Zero for the Children of the Tentacle, and in this section I wanted to have a look at the game state and its future, and look more specifically at where we are at the moment when it comes to sales and the future of the game. In order to do so, I've leveraged some of the data I found on arcanarcana.com, and very thankful for the collection they've done. I've been looking for this for a very long time, and I was extremely pleased to find it. And just wanted to give you a bit of an idea of how the sales, as they measured it, has been evolving in week on week in the past 2 years. And as you can see, while we've had amazing sales and success with Call of the Archon, the next two releases have been kind of smaller, and surprisingly, I think everybody thought that Age of Ascension was not such a great release compared to Worlds Collide. Actually, we can see in terms of the numbers, they're slightly higher, but overall the trend is going down, and that leads me to a couple of thoughts and some of the things I wanted to discuss. And one of the main challenges is that the sets kind of cannibalize each other, and you can really see it if we go back to the graph. We can really see that the sales spread across the sets. And the feeling I have, then the more sets get released, the more sales get spread across these sets. We don't get the kind of push and success from the new sets because some other sets sell more. And that brings me to the question that I have is keeping the game evergreen limiting the future sales? I mean, I'm very happy we can still sell Call of the Archons, but the question is, shouldn't we push always forward, getting more of the new sets? Another question I have is, do we have too many bad decks? Because I think a lot of the players buy the deck second hands rather than investing into deck boxes and so on. And is the share of good decks in sets too low? And is the algorithm not producing enough good decks? And I think this is something I've heard recently. Why would I want to buy decks if out of 10, 20 decks I get, they're all kind of average and not very exciting? This is not something I used to have in an LCG model, because the economics are different, and the way you get good cards and you get good decks is working in a different way. Even if economically it's still better, why would I want to buy hundreds of bad decks in the hope of getting a good one when I can just auction a good one? And if not many decks get open, I don't really care because I'm still getting one of the better ones from the pool. The last question I have around the structural challenge is, can we recover from the last drop? I understand the impact on confinement at the end of first quarter of this year and the second quarter, but will the game recover, or will people have just gotten the habit of not buying new decks and just buying them second hand, or just not buying them at all? Have we lost a lot of players in that period of time? We should have had by now the release also of mass mutation, and we should have had that spike that we had for all the set releases, and this has not happened either. So how does this impact the game? So people will say, yes, but this spike will happen in a few months from now, but that makes a whole world of a difference for Fantasy Flight games, and that's a concern to an extent for them, because the money is not getting in. The decks have been printed or have been ordered or are being shipped, but the money is not getting in, so they can't finance the next project. Finally, the question I would have is related to how many decks do they need to sell in a given week to be sustainable? The steady state we've had outside of new decks releases was around 18,000-20,000 decks a week. Um, so is that enough for them to think this game will last another 3, 4, 5 years? How do they stabilize the success of future launches? Looking also at the success of every set, if we look at the 3 releases, what we see was AOA was 58% less successful than Call of the Archons. And Worlds Collide was 67% less successful than Call of the Archons, which means basically they were like 22% less successful than Age of Ascension. And how can they really come into a trend where we actually have a regular inflow of players, of sales, of cash every time there's a new release? What can make the game exciting, and how can the enjoyment of the game be renewed? And that gets me on the options that I see for FFG. And the first question I have for them is really, where is the steady state? How many sales per week do they need to find the game in a sustainable manner, and they keep investing in it? The next question I'm having, and this is a bit of a deeper concern, is there enough design space in the game to make future sets exciting, innovative, and successful, so that at some point we get a set that is actually heavily more successful than the previous ones? How can we, as a community, expand the player base? Because we need a casual scene. We need more people playing the game, and I think that's a big concern if this becomes a game of experts, of people who have hundreds of decks and know all the ways, all the plays, and are very competitive, and have a very interesting casual scene. I don't mean to say mean things about FFG. I love their games, and I've been playing their games for years. But one thing I've noticed is they've been really struggling in thinking these games for the long term and keeping them alive. And as much as I enjoy them, it always breaks my heart when all of a sudden I see them as a company losing interest in a project and moving on to the next one. And I don't want that to happen for Keyforge. And I'm really hoping they find the resources to regrow and renew what they can find in the game. So I hope you found this analysis interesting. Once again, thanks very much for all the people that collected and made this data relevant. And I hope to see you again very soon.